Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Jacob Teacher YouTube channel. It is a rainy Tuesday evening here in Korea. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. If this is your first time here, welcome. Say hello, introduce yourself, tell me where you are watching from. And if you are returning, welcome back. It's great to see you again. Let's have a great lesson tonight. I'm really excited about this lesson because I think it's really important. As you saw, the title of this video, we're going to be talking about the phrase supposed to. Now, living in Korea, this is something that I see many of my students struggle with, as well as just many Korean people who are learning the English language. And after studying it a little bit and preparing for this lesson, it's not surprising to see why. This is a very confusing phrase that we use in many different ways. So hopefully by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to better understand it. I also think it's an important one to understand because native English speakers use this all the time. I use this myself personally all the time. So if you are able to use it, if you are able to understand it, you will sound much more like a native English speaker. So looks like we already have some people joining us. Fatma says, "Hi, this is the first live lesson I attend. I'm so excited." Hello, Fatma. Thank you for joining. I'm excited too that you're here. Welcome. Sadawat says, "Hello. Hello, Sadawat. Nice to see you again." Omar says, "Hello, I'm Omar from Morocco. Thank you for watching, Omar, and I hope you're doing well in Morocco." Abo says, "Peace be upon you." Well, thank you, my friend. Peace be upon you too. Okay, let's get started. By the way, if this is your first time here, I have an ebook that's available for download, 4 things you must do to get better at speaking English. The link to that is in the description below. And you are, of course, as always, free to give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Okay, enough talk. Let's get started. Supposed to. Now, I want you to think about supposed to and all of the different ways that it is used in terms of expectations. Okay, so we're going to be talking about expectations. That is going to be, I think, the theme, the overall theme that links all of these different usages together. And actually, before we look at the PowerPoint, I want to look at how this is formed most of the time, at least the way we're going to be talking about it today. So we have how these sentences are going to be formed. We're going to have the verb to be, some form of the verb to be, and then plus supposed to, and then plus the infinitive verb. Okay, the infinitive verb just basically means the verb without to in front of it. So that's the infinitive form of the verb. For example, I'm supposed to call her after this lesson. I'm supposed to call her after this lesson. So I am being the verb to be, supposed to, and call her after this lesson. We'll talk about what these mean afterwards, but this is how each sentence is going to be formed. Just remember this. You can think of it as a formula, okay? You're not supposed to eat on the bus. So you are the verb to be, not supposed to eat on the bus. Okay? So, let's get going. Expectations, that's what we are talking about. And I will keep my eye on the chat room. Sam is joining us again. What's up, Sam? I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing well too. So expectations, that's what's going to link all of these things together. We're going to look at 4 different ways, 4 main ways that this phrase is used. So the first one is when we're talking about something that one should or shouldn't do because of certain rules and expectations. And often in the examples you'll see, we can replace the phrase supposed to with should or shouldn't. And it'll mean essentially the same thing. But this is one way that we use the phrase supposed to. I've got lots of questions for you tonight too, so I'm hoping for lots of participation in the chat room. Let's look at some examples. We're not supposed to speak in the library. We're not supposed to speak in the library. So what this means basically is, I have it in green here. Oh, sorry about that. We shouldn't speak in the library. Often when we're using supposed to in this ways, we're talking about an actual rule. Sometimes you're actually not allowed to. It's a law or a rule. And other times it's more of a social custom, a social norm. Okay, so we're not supposed to speak in the library. It basically means we shouldn't speak in the library. You're supposed to say thank you when someone does something nice for you. You're supposed to say thank you when someone does something nice for you. And again, this means very similarly. You should say thank you when someone does something nice for you. Okay? So really, if you can replace the word or the phrase supposed to with should in both of these examples, and it would work okay. It would basically mean the same thing. So what's the difference then? Why do we use supposed to? Well, in these examples, when I read them, I can almost imagine a situation in which in which the thing that you're not supposed to do already happened. So I can imagine a situation when, like, let's say two people are in the library and one person is talking to the other person, and this person says, "We're not supposed to speak in the library." It means it's already happening. We're not supposed to do it. We shouldn't, but it's already happening. There's that subtle difference there. We're talking about possibilities and expectations. You're supposed to say thank you. When I read this sentence, I imagine a child and a parent and a child, and the child receives a gift from another adult, and he doesn't say thank you. You can imagine the parent saying to him, "You're supposed to say thank you when someone does something nice for you." So there's that situation where, in that situation, the thing that the child was not supposed to do or was supposed to do already didn't happen, okay? So there's that subtle difference. Now, we don't always use it in situations like that. A lot of the time we do use it in a way that is completely replaced. You could replace supposed to with should, but it's one common way, and it has that subtle difference in meaning a lot of the time. Looks like we have some more people joining us. Good, so we have some sentences already. Good, okay, Sam asks a very great question, and this is one that comes up a lot. I think this is probably why English language learners struggle with this so much, because it's supposed to is very similar to so many different phrases that we use. So why use it? So he says, why not must to? What's the difference between supposed to and must to? Or must not, sorry. Why not supposed to and must do something, must not do something? Okay, so must, when you must do something, you have to. It's required that you do it. Supposed to, it has that subtle difference in meaning where it's required or expected of you, but it also might not happen, or it hasn't happened yet. There's the difference. If I say, I must not talk in the library, it means I can't for sure. I'm not supposed to talk in the library, it means it's expected, it's required of me, but it might happen anyway. So there's that subtle difference where it's required or expected, but not always done. And that's going to be the overall difference a lot of the time between supposed to and other similar phrases. Okay, good. So Alan is asking the same question. Supposed to, something the same mean as commitment or obligation. Yes, Alan, you're absolutely right. Good to see you, by the way. Thanks for joining. It's very similar, except there's that different aspect of it where it might not happen. There's a possibility. It's obligated, it's expected, but it might not happen. And you'll see more in these examples when we use them that there's always that possibility. Okay? Fatma, we use it for future and the past tense too. Yeah, you can use it for future and you can use it for the past tense too. You're right, Fatma. So good question there. I wasn't supposed to speak in the library, but I did. Okay, so I wasn't supposed to. I'm not supposed to. You could say it the same way if you're talking about the future. I'm not supposed to speak in the library. You could use it to talk about the future that way. Okay, let's keep going. Now, I pulled an article or a headline of an article. This was an article that was written recently, and it said, "Why are former presidents supposed to shut up about their successors?" Okay, why are former presidents supposed to shut up about their successors? So former means past. Successors means to succeed someone. It comes from the verb succeed. And succeed, most of you probably know, means to achieve something. That's the most common way you use it. It also means, in this case, this is what it means, to become the next in line for a position or for a role. So Donald Trump succeeded Barack Obama. Barack Obama succeeded George Bush. It's when you're the next in line for a position or a role. So, why are former presidents supposed to shut up about their successors? This article is asking why are past presidents, in this case they're talking about Barack Obama, not supposed to talk about their successors. So there's a custom, I guess, in politics where past presidents are not supposed to criticize or talk much about the new president who comes in. And this article is asking, why are former presidents supposed to shut up? Shut up means not speak. Why are former presidents supposed to? Why is it a custom? Why is it a rule that we have? Okay, that's what they're asking. I've got a question for you. So it's a hypothetical situation. Imagine, what is something you're not supposed to do at a funeral? What is something you are not supposed to do at a funeral? Well, I can think of one. You're not supposed to wear a t-shirt and shorts at a funeral. You're not supposed to go to a funeral wearing a t-shirt and shorts. Actually, well, for some funerals maybe, but for the average funeral, you're supposed to wear a nice suit, a tie, nice clothes. You're not supposed to wear clothes that you would wear to go visit your friend at a coffee shop, let's say. So, in the comment section, tell me, what is something you are not supposed to do at a funeral? Let me just switch back to the chat room. Okay, good. Sadowit says something similar to me. We are not supposed to wear colorful attire. Yes, that's good. Most people at funerals, I guess, they just wear black. That seems to be the color. It would be weird if someone came to a funeral wearing a rainbow-colored suit. It's a sad occasion. We're not supposed to wear colorful clothing. Okay, Fatma says, no one is supposed to laugh. Great. Actually, I was thinking about that, Fatma. I was going to say the exact same thing, that no one is supposed to laugh. Great sentence, by the way. Just make sure you spell laugh right. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. L-A-U-G-H. I was going to say that, but sometimes at funerals, I think there are ways to laugh, and times when laughing is appropriate and great for everyone. It's difficult, and generally speaking, I think you're not supposed to laugh unless there's a moment where it's appropriate. If someone who's speaking tells a funny joke, it can be great and healthy, I think, to laugh. But most of the time, it's very obvious when that's appropriate and when it's not appropriate. And generally speaking, yes, you're not supposed to laugh. So I was going to use that sentence too. Great work. Let me know. I'll keep checking on the comment section as we continue. Let me know. Let's go back. Okay, now the second way I want to talk about this. When you've agreed to do something, okay? When you've agreed to do something. Let's look at two examples. I'm going to show, and then I'm going to ask you another question. So, I'm supposed to cover Jack's shift this weekend. I'm supposed to cover Jack's shift this weekend. Now, the word cover here, this is actually a good vocabulary lesson too. Cover, we use that word in many different ways. In this sentence, what it means is, imagine that I have to work this weekend, but there is a concert that's happening. And I really want to go to this concert, but I'm also scheduled to work. Well, I could say to one of my coworkers, Jack, could you cover my shift? It means, could you work for me? Could you take my shift so that I can go to the concert? Okay, so I'm supposed to cover Jack's shift this weekend. What it means is I agreed to cover Jack's shift this weekend, and it's expected that I will. I agreed to cover Jack's shift this weekend, and it's expected that I will. I'm going to work for Jack so that he can do something else. I'm supposed to pick up Lisa at the airport. I'm supposed to pick up Lisa at the airport. And again, very similar. I agreed to pick up Lisa from the airport, and it's expected that I will. Now, I want to show you here, and I think this is especially true of this phrase, supposed to, but just how the tone of a sentence can change the meaning. So a lot of the time with the phrase supposed to, again, I was talking before about the possibility that the thing won't happen. I was talking about how there's that thing that kind of characterizes this phrase. Something is expected, or something is expected, you're obligated to do something, but it might not happen. There's that subtle kind of meaning. So I want to show you, imagine you're talking to your friends and they invite you somewhere for the weekend. And you want to do that thing, it sounds really fun, but you remember you have to cover Jack's shift. You agreed that you would cover Jack's shift. Imagine you said it like this. Well, I'm supposed to cover Jack's shift this weekend. Once again, I'm supposed to cover Jack's shift this weekend. If you use that tone, what's kind of suggested is that you're thinking about not doing it. I agreed to. I'm supposed to cover Jack's shift this weekend, but I'm not. I don't know if I will. I might change my mind. So it depends a lot of the time with this phrase, especially how you phrase it, what the context is. A lot of the times, the context and how you phrase it will determine its meaning. You could equally say, yeah, I'm supposed to cover Jack's shift this weekend, or I'm supposed to cover Jack's shift this weekend. Imagine someone asks you, what are you doing this weekend? I'm supposed to cover Jack's shift. If you use that tone, what's implied is, I agreed to cover Jack's shift this weekend, and it's expected that I will. So its tone with this phrase, context, is incredibly important. We use it in different ways, okay? Again, same thing. I'm supposed to pick up Lisa at the airport. If you use it like that, you're implying that I'm thinking about not doing it. I might not do it. It might not happen. If you say I'm supposed to pick up Lisa at the airport, it's going to happen. So a lot of this depends on the tone. It's kind of a funny English phrase that way. But English is like that in general. A lot of the times, the tone and the context of something can change the meaning. It could be the exact same sentence, and depending on the tone, it could have many different meanings. So it's hard to tell sometimes in English. What is one thing you're supposed to do this weekend? What is one thing you're supposed to do this weekend? Okay, so for me, I'm supposed to play a concert this weekend, a gig. There's a festival going on here in Jeju Island, a foreigners festival where people are playing music, and I'm supposed to play songs at this festival on my guitar. So that's something I'm supposed to do this weekend. Now I could also say, I'm supposed to play guitar this weekend at this festival, but I really want to go to Seoul. I really want to go traveling. Okay, so you can use it to introduce something else that you want to do. And again, it really depends on the tone and the text, what your intentions are. Okay, so tell me, what is one thing you're supposed to do this weekend? Okay, Abo says, no one is supposed to dancing. Okay, remember Abo, sorry. Remember Abo, I just want to show you, in case you came late, how we construct these. Okay, so we have to be, the verb, plus supposed to, plus the infinitive verb. So we need that verb, to be, some form of it. We need supposed to, and then we need the infinitive verb. Infinitive verb just means the verb without to in front of it. So to go back to your sentence, you could say, no one is supposed to dance, or you aren't supposed to dance. Okay? Sam says, we're not supposed to speak harsh words. We're not supposed to speak harsh words. If you're talking about a funeral still, then yes, you're not supposed to speak harsh words. Better would be, we're not supposed to say harsh things, would be a natural way to phrase that. We're not supposed to say harsh things or offensive things, however you want to phrase it. Okay. Sam says, we're not supposed to play wedding or rock songs. Okay, yeah, you're not supposed to play wedding or rock songs at a funeral. That would probably be weird, you're right. Alan says, we're supposed to get along with those who are always supporting us in all aspects of our life. For instance, our sadness or our happiness and joyful moments. Great, Alan, again, I've told you this many times, just try and simplify your sentences. The first part of that sentence is great. We're supposed to get along with those who are always supporting us in all aspects of our life, period. For instance, in our sadness or in our happy, or in our sad or happy or joyful moments. You could phrase it like that. Jacob, would you mind if I ask a question? Of course not, Sam. That is what I am here for. I always see that you use Lisa as an example. Is there any reason behind that? That's a really funny question. I noticed that I do too. And I do in class when I'm teaching elementary students here a lot of the time too. Part of the reason I use it in class with my elementary students is because, well, they're young kids and they're just learning English names. So Lisa, especially with the way Korean works, the Korean language, is very easy for them to pronounce, and it's a short word, so it's easy for them to read. I think that might be the reason I use it. I don't know. I didn't actually notice that I was using it frequently in these live lessons too, but thanks for the question. That's really funny that you asked that. Alan says, I'm supposed to practice English with native speakers and teachers in order to improve my English proficiency. Alan, perfect sentence. Great. So you're supposed to do that this weekend, I believe you're saying. I'm supposed to go to the dentist to check my teeth out this weekend. Okay? A natural way to phrase that is if we're just going for a general checkup to the dentist, we say we're going for a cleaning. Okay? You could say checkup. Most people say, I'm supposed to go to the dentist for a cleaning this weekend. And it just means a general cleaning of my teeth, and they check to see if there's anything else wrong. Sam says, I'm supposed to visit my uncle's house this weekend. Sam, just remember you need to be some form of the verb to be in the beginning of your sentence. So I am supposed to visit my uncle's house this weekend. Okay? I'm supposed to prepare something for my travel to Hawaii. Okay, so you can say I'm supposed to prepare for my trip to Hawaii. That would be the best way to phrase that. I'm supposed to prepare for my trip to Hawaii. Great sentence. Good job. And have fun in Hawaii. That sounds really awesome, and I'm jealous. Okay, in the weekend. Abo, you say in English, on the weekend, or this weekend. Either on the weekend or this weekend. And again, remember you need the verb to be. On the weekend, I am supposed to visit some holy places. Okay? You could say this weekend, I am supposed to visit some holy places. Sarawat says, I am supposed to prepare my presentation this weekend, but my friend asked me to go to the amusement park instead. Okay, excellent, Sarawat. This is exactly what I was talking about before, where you can use supposed to kind of introduce. So in this case, you're talking about something you've agreed to do, some plan that you have, but there's this other thing that you really want to do. So this is a great time to use the phrase supposed to. Really great job there. Abo says, on the weekend, I'm supposed to finish homework. With homework, we say finish my homework. I'm supposed to finish my homework. Jacob is not supposed to use Lisa's name anymore after the participant's question. All right, Fatma, great. Yeah, and now I will think about using different names in the future. Thank you for that. Please tell me anything else that you notice that I do continuously that is maybe annoying or that you would like me to change too. Because a lot of the time I don't notice. Alan says, I'm not supposed to play with my phone or chat or something like that in funeral ceremonies. Yes, that's a really good one, Alan. You're not supposed to play on your phone at funerals. Okay, great work. It seems like you guys are understanding this. If you can too, if you understand how this is used with this usage of it, like when you're agreeing to something or when you've agreed to it, try and make it more complicated. Try and say, I'm supposed to do this, but blah, 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 blah. But I want to do this other thing too. You can try and use that. Fur says, hi. Fur Aja, thank you for joining. Let's continue on. I've got two more general ways in which this phrase is used. Okay, so here we go. When something was or is expected to happen, but didn't happen. When something was or is expected to happen, but didn't happen, okay? So again, this is another example of where context really matters. So let's imagine that you were supposed to meet someone, you're supposed to meet your friend, and he didn't show up, he didn't meet you. He hasn't shown up yet. You could say, he was supposed to meet us here 10 minutes ago. So you're with a group of friends, you're waiting for someone. He was supposed to meet us here 10 minutes ago. Means we had plans to, it was arranged, but he didn't meet us here. He was expected to meet us here 10 minutes ago, and he still isn't here. Sometimes you can finish the sentence, so you could say he was supposed to meet us here 10 minutes ago, but he still isn't here. A lot of the time we don't even say that last part. A lot of the time we'll phrase it like I have it here. He was supposed to meet us here 10 minutes ago, and you just leave it like that. The rest is implied. Okay? She was supposed to call me after work. Okay, so imagine your friend asks you, hey, have you heard from Shelley? There's a different name. Hey, have you heard from Shelley? You could say, no, I haven't. She was supposed to call me after work. So she was supposed to call me after work. It was expected that she would call me after work, but she did not. Okay, she was supposed to call me. It was expected. It was planned, but it didn't happen. Let's look at another example from the news. This person here, some of you may know, is Theresa May. She's the Prime Minister of Britain in the UK. And I got this headline. The election was supposed to clear the way for leaving the EU, but Theresa May's failure has put Brexit in doubt. Okay, so there's a lot going on in this quotation. The election was supposed to clear the way. Clear the way. What does clear the way mean? It's a great English idiom that we use a lot, and what it means is to make it possible for something else to happen. Okay, or to make it possible or easier for something else to happen. Okay, so imagine you have a million different things to do, and you want to, I don't know, let's say watch YouTube all day, something happens, and you clear the way. So you imagine a way that is being cleared, and now you're able to do that. Something happened that clears the way. So let's say work was canceled. You don't have to go to work that day. That cleared the way for you to watch YouTube videos. So it just clears stuff to the side. So the election was supposed to clear the way for leaving the EU. EU is the European Union. And of course, as we all know, Britain voted to leave the European Union. And there's a lot happening right now. I'm not too familiar with all of it, but what this headline is saying, that the recent election in the UK was supposed to make leaving the EU, make Brexit easier. It was supposed to make it easier, but Theresa May's failure has put Brexit in doubt. It's a complicated sentence, I know, but basically what they're saying is the election was supposed to make it easy for the UK to leave the European Union, but Theresa May did something that made it more difficult now, or Theresa May failed to do something that made it more difficult now. So that's what that means. What is something that was supposed to happen last year in your life but didn't happen? What is something that was supposed to happen or wasn't supposed to happen but did happen? You can tell me either thing. That's okay. You could also say anything in the world that was supposed to happen but didn't happen. So it doesn't have to be about your personal life. You could talk about politics or whatever. Tell me something that was supposed to happen last year that didn't happen. For example, I was supposed to go play in a hockey tournament in April. I was supposed to go to Seoul to play in a hockey tournament, but I injured my shoulder, so I couldn't go. I couldn't play. I was injured. I was supposed to do that. My voice feels a little harsh today. I went to a singing room with my brother on the weekend. We sang a lot of songs, and my voice, I think, is gone. Okay? Okay, so we have some more sentences here from before. Abo says, on this weekend. Okay, Abo, you're almost right, so close. On the weekend or this weekend. So one or the other. You can say both. So on the weekend, I'm supposed to go to the market to shop, you could say. We don't use the verb make with shopping. You could just say to shop. Use the verb shop there. Or this weekend, I'm supposed to go to the market to shop. Fur says, hello, I'm from Indonesia. Nice to meet you. And Fatma says, clear the way, prepare it. Yes, similar, or not so much prepare it, but make it easier. Make it easier. Clear the way. Okay. I was supposed to marry DiCaprio, but we didn't. Great sentence. That's really, I love the humor there. Thank you for that. That's great. Yeah, that's, I'm sure many women felt that way too. I was supposed to marry DiCaprio, but we didn't. Maybe this year will be your year. Keep trying. I was supposed to be fluent in English last year, but I found out I need many years more to go to reach my goal. Alan, that's okay. All of us do that with lots of our goals. I think most people do that. We underestimate how long it will take us to do something. We underestimate how hard it will be to do something. We think, oh, I'll be fluent in English in no time, or it'll be easy to do. But of course, with most things, it takes a lot of hard work, especially learning a language. It takes a lot of time, a lot of hard work. So don't worry, my friend, you'll get there. Fatma says we cannot say in or at the weekend. No, we don't really say that, at the weekend. No, we don't say that, in the weekend. No, on the weekend. On the weekend, Fatma. I can't think of an example, at least, when we would say that. Abo says, I was supposed to go get a job, but I can't found it. You could say, I was supposed to get a job, but I couldn't. Couldn't is the past form of can't there, but I couldn't find one. I could not find one. I was supposed to get a job, but I couldn't find one. Okay, great. I was supposed to start teaching, but my English wasn't more natural. Well, Sam, you're going to get there. Your English sounds really good to me. You write really well, at least, so keep up the great work. You could say I was supposed to start teaching, but my English wasn't natural enough. Enough would be a good word to use there. My English wasn't natural enough. Okay, great. Let's look at one more example of how this is used. Okay, so this is this might be the most different from the others, I think. But we have another sentence from Sadawat. Let me just check. Last year, I was supposed to travel around the U.S., but now my time here is going to end soon. Yes, that's tough. When we travel to places, especially if we're living there for a long time, it's I think many of us get to a place and we think, oh, I have so much time here. I can travel and do all of these fun things later. And then time goes by so fast, the end of the year arrives, or the end of your visit, and you realize, I didn't do all of these things that I want to do. But it's tough. It's tough. So, Sadawat, I hope you enjoyed the U.S. And let's see, last year I was supposed to travel around the U.S., but now my time here is going to end soon. Perfect sentence. Great. Really good work. Okay, let's keep going. So what people say or think about someone or something. So you can also think of this as like a general consensus, what most people think about something. For example, this is supposed to be the best restaurant in town. Imagine you're traveling to a new city with your friend and you're eating at this famous restaurant. You'd say, yeah, this is supposed to be the best restaurant in town. And it means it is believed by other people that this is the best restaurant in town. Generally, this is supposed to be the best restaurant in town. People think it's the best restaurant in town. That movie's not supposed to be very good. That movie's not supposed to be very good. Okay, so imagine you're at a movie theater. Your friend suggests that you should go see some movie. You say, oh, I don't know, that movie's not supposed to be very good. That movie's not supposed to be very good. It means it is generally believed that the movie is not very good. So it's that general belief that we're talking about here. What is one food that you haven't tried that is supposed to be delicious? A lot of the time, you can replace supposed to here with, like I've heard that, so for example, frog, I've heard from many people, is supposed to be delicious. Frog is supposed to taste like chicken, I've heard. So we use it in this way when we're talking about a general idea or what the consensus is about something. If you haven't heard, if you haven't heard a band before, and someone asks you, "Hey, have you heard this band?" No, I haven't heard. I haven't heard any of their songs, but they're supposed to be pretty good. It means that that's what people seem to believe, is that they're supposed to be good. Okay, so let me check on the chat room here. Whoops. Okay. Oh, interesting. Alan says, Jacob, I'm interested in Korean culture and lifestyle. Could you please have a lesson about Korean culture or traditions in coming lessons? Yeah, Alan, I'll write that down right now. I actually, very sadly, might be leaving Korea very soon at the end of August. My contract here is ending, and it's been very difficult to decide, but I believe that in August I will be going back to Canada. So yeah, I'll have to do, if I do a lesson about Korean culture, I will have to do one soon. Korean lesson. But I love Korea, and if you have not been to Korea before, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people here. I've had a really great time. Okay, Abo says, I was supposed to change my mobile, but I don't have enough money. Great, perfect sentence. Abo, great job. I was supposed to change my mobile, but I don't have enough money. You could phrase it a little more naturally. I was supposed to get a new phone would be the most natural way to phrase it. I was supposed to get a new phone, but I don't have enough money. Okay. The Japanese are supposed to be the most punctual people in the world. Great sentence. I was actually in Japan a couple of weeks ago, and they were quite punctual. We went to a few different shows, and everything started on time. So from my limited experience, that sentence seems to be true. The Japanese are supposed to be the most punctual people in the world. Great. Punctual, for those of you who don't know, means to show up on time, to start something on time. So if you agree to be somewhere at a certain time and you're there, you're being punctual. Punctual people are always on time. They always start at the right time. Fatma says, I didn't check out sushi, but it is supposed to be tasty. Very good. Fatma, you could say a more natural way to phrase that would be, I haven't tried sushi, but it is supposed to be tasty. I haven't tried sushi, but it is supposed to be tasty. You could say I haven't checked out sushi before, but it would sound a little unnatural. Lanya says, hello, Jacob teacher. Hello, Lanya. Thanks for joining. I'm supposed to eat bacon, says Sam. Okay, I'm supposed to eat bacon. So that would leave me wondering why. I would want you to kind of finish that sentence. You could say that, but it would leave, people wouldn't know what you're implying. The question I'd ask is, what do you mean, or why are you supposed to eat bacon? You'd want to finish there. Lanya says, I'm supposed to be here earlier. Good, Lanya, yeah, I'm going to show you, because you were late, just how to kind of structure this phrase. And actually, no, I still have another slide for you here. But, Lanya, the way that you do this, you need the verb to be plus supposed to plus the infinitive verb. So some form of the verb to be plus supposed to, and then the infinitive verb, which is this just the base form of the verb without to in front of it. So when you're forming these sentences, keep it in that formula. Okay, now the last thing that so Lanya, to answer your question, you could, or to correct your sentence, you could say, I was supposed to be here earlier. Okay, let's keep going. I have another 2 slides for you. One thing that you should watch out for: suppose versus supposed to. This is where a lot of the confusion happens. Suppose and supposed to are very different from each other, believe it or not. They're very different. Suppose basically is when it's a verb that means many different things, but generally speaking, it's when you presume something before you have enough evidence. Okay? So suppose we go, let's look at an example. I have one here for you in which I use both supposed to and suppose. He was supposed to be here 40 minutes ago. I suppose his flight was delayed. He was supposed to be here 40 minutes ago. I suppose his flight was delayed. Okay. So we have both supposed to and suppose here. The first part, he was supposed to be here 40 minutes ago. We talked about this usage. This was, I believe, the second one, in which we're talking about something that was expected to happen. Maybe it was the third one. Something that was expected to happen, but didn't happen. He was supposed to be here 40 minutes ago, means it was agreed, he was expected to be here 40 minutes ago, but he didn't happen. The second sentence, I suppose his flight was delayed. You're saying, I'm assuming that his flight was delayed. We don't know 100% for certain, but there's evidence, right? There's a little bit of evidence that suggests that his flight was delayed. So I'm presuming his flight was delayed. So just be careful, because that's something that's really confusing. It's just one of those things with English that is, it's English. It's crazy. There are a lot of exceptions, a lot of breaks to the rules, and some words that look the exact same mean totally different things. It's English. Very challenging, I know. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. I'm going to go back to the chat room here just to make sure that there aren't any more questions. Of course, again, this lesson was longer than I expected. Okay. Abo says, I taste chicken. Oh, I did that one. Did I do that one? Right, no, I didn't. Okay. Abo says, I taste chicken, but not supposed to be a good meal. Okay, so interesting. You wouldn't really use supposed to here. In that usage, we're talking often. That's a good point. I'm glad you use that, because often when we're using that last usage of supposed to, when we're talking about what is generally believed to be true, we haven't tried that thing ourselves. So this restaurant is supposed to be really good. What's implied is we haven't tried it before, but we've heard, it's believed by other people that the restaurant is true. Before, we had a sentence that said, the Japanese are supposed to be the most punctual people in the world. What that means is, what's implied there is that I've never met Japanese people, but I've heard it's generally believed that that they are punctual people. So implied is that you haven't tried the thing that you're talking about. You haven't experienced it yourself. Okay? Let's see, what else do we have? Suppose equals assume. Yes, Fatma, good. Great job. I'm supposed to understand the difference between suppose and assume accurately. I'm supposed to understand the difference, Alan, between suppose and assume accurately. Yeah, between suppose and assume, they are very similar. The difference, a lot of the time they're very similar. I think when you suppose something, suppose is a stronger guess than assume. Often when we suppose, it's more likely that that thing is true because there's more evidence to support it. When we assume, it's closer to guessing. They're very similar though, and we use them a lot of the time interchangeably. So, yeah. Supposed to, is it a phrasal verb? It's a phrasal, I think it's part of a modal verb, so it changes the main verb of the sentence. It alters the meaning of the main verb of the sentence is what it does. So it's not technically a phrasal verb, I believe. Great sentence, Sam, or great question. Martina, I guess his flight was delayed. Yeah, you could say the same thing. Martina says that's another great word that you can use, and it would mean again, very similar to suppose or assume. I guess they're all very similar, and in any of those, you could replace suppose with either of those, and it would basically mean the same thing. Presume sounds a little more formal too, I think. Yeah, it's not as casual, but they're essentially the same thing. Sadawat says, all your lessons, I can't pronounce words today. All your lessons are excellent. I suppose the next one will be great too. Looking forward to it. Well, thank you, Sadawat, so much. And thank you all of you for watching. That's very nice of you to say, Sadawat, and I look forward to seeing you and everyone else in the next lesson. What does punctual mean? Lanya, punctual means to be on time for something. So this lesson started at 8 o'clock, and I was punctual today. I started right at 8 o'clock. People who are punctual always arrive at places on time. They arrive when they said they were going to be there at the right time. That's what punctual means. Okay. Fatma says, this live lesson is supposed to be a good, normal English lesson, but it is amazing. I love it. More than amazing. Great. Thank you so much. That's really flattering to hear. Very nice to hear. Fatma says, this live lesson was, you want to be talking about the past tense here, was supposed to be a good, normal English lesson, but it is amazing. I love it. Okay. Thank you so much, and thank all of you so much. I've got to get going right now. I have to call someone else and talk some more with other people. But it was a pleasure being here with you tonight. Like I said, if you're able to use this, phrase, native speakers use it all the time. You're going to hear it used in many different situations. If you understand it, if you're able to use it, you're going to sound just like a native English speaker. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, ask me more questions. Come back to the next live lesson. If you like this, you can give me a thumbs up. That will always help me, and it makes me feel good. Other than that, I hope you have a great time wherever you are in the world, a great day. And I will see you in the next live lesson. Bye-bye.